which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kelly, if you could take attendance, please.
Larry Fidler.
Here.
Greg J.
Here.
Brandon Tanker.
Here.
Bryce Howell.
Here.
Scott Stierwalt.
Here.
Are there any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? Okay. Silence, I'll take nobody has anything to add or delete, so a motion for that.
Second.
Who had the second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of minutes from the October 8th, 2024 regular meeting minutes. Can somebody make a motion to approve those?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Brings us to claims and transfers.
From the general fund, $172,623.82.
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
From water, $65,816.23.
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
From wastewater, $641,352.71.
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
From payroll, $56,546.32.
Is there a motion? Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Easy Street invoice number 200-40162 in the amount of $2,799.44.
Motion.
Are there any questions? If there are no questions, would somebody like to make a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Water Solutions Unlimited, invoice number 6901815 in the amount of $4,084.80.
What was this for?
This is routine chemicals, and I believe the approval is up to $4,000 on this one.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wheeling Brothers, invoice number 2462 for the amount of $20,300.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perry Township Schools, invoice number 2024-1028-01 for the amount of $1,886.81.
Question.
Yes.
What was that for?
This is for the police department. They did some training for Narcan, and this is the amount they can use their opioid restricted money, and that will cover the training for that.
Motion. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, who seconded that? Like- Okay, that's all I have right now.
Thank you. All right. Adam?
I don't have a lot tonight. Halloween was a big success in town. We also, last night, went to the school board meeting and presented our first ever citizen award, student citizen awards from the department to a middle schooler and an elementary student. So we're still bridging that gap with the schools. Interviewed another SRO. Looked pretty promising, so we got some more footwork to do on that, but that's where we're at.
I want to say the presence in the last month has been very much increased. Love it. Like driving around town, especially in the evening when I'm coming back from the airport or whatever, always passing one of our cops. So good.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Adam? Thank you. All right, Jason?
Well, first of all, Eric could not be here tonight, Eric Smith with HWC. He did send you an update on these, and it is in your packet, but I can go through them real quickly. As well, the 231 main extension, that is currently being installed by Kreider and Kreider. That is an NDOT project, and you still see the work going on north of 70 on 231 on the west side of the road. Part of that project is our relocation of our 10-inch water main. So Richard is out there about every day working with them, making sure things are correct. So there may be a few adjustments we have to make, but it's being taken care of. The I-70 water main extension, this is the project, the Ready project, where we're going under I-70. We're still waiting on 2 easements that I keep telling you about. We've been waiting for quite some time. Brandon, I think you were going to be able to meet with one of those folks on Friday. Is that correct? Yeah. And Eric is going to be here back from Florida on the 15th.
Are we still waiting?
So, yeah. So, those are the two we're waiting for. So, but once we do that, we're going to go out to bid, and I'm guessing we'll probably go out to bid maybe late December, probably more like January. So we'll go out to bid for that. The Lieber wastewater project, most everything is wrapped up with that project, or we're real close to wrapped up with that project, with the exception of contingency items, which probably aren't going to start until spring. So there are going to be some contingency funds left for us to spend. So we're getting those numbers still wrapped up. I'm going to guess February, March, we're going to be able to make a decision on where we're going to go with those contingency funds for additional lining or equipment or whatever improvements we need to make. But the bulk of the project, the original project, is done. There are a few things still at Lieber that they're doing. They're demolishing the old plant that they had out there. But as of middle of October, we did start accepting sewer from Lieber State Park. So we are now supplying them with that service.
Did we build them?
We've got the reads for, I don't know,
I'm sorry.
for the park, the billing. Yeah, it wasn't that much, the amount that we calculated. But October, it was only the second half of October we'll bill.
I'm just curious if we have sent them a bill.
A bill for the work done at the basketball court? I'm
No.
sorry, I'm lost.
No, Lieber's billing.
The process.
The sewer.
Remember that meeting
yes,
we had
yes,
with
yes.
Baker Tilly?
Yes, we have sent them their first bill.
Okay, thank you.
We sent the bill calculated on our current rates.
Yep.
So we've not done anything with that yet. The belt filter press, that is the belt press that is in the sewer plant. It has not been used in several years. I know that, or at least since I've been here, which is 3.5 years, because you started going to land application. As a matter of fact, that's what Wheeling's invoice was for land application. So instead of pressing at the sewer plant like we did in the past, we've gone to land application. My understanding it was there were some cost savings in doing so, and with that, the press does still have some value, and the plan is to redesign that building down there at the sewer plant to be able to use for other applications and put a new tank in and overhead door and be able to use that building. But we would need to take that press out that we don't believe will ever be used again. HWC did check around with a few other communities that do still use belt presses, checked with a couple of manufacturers, and I think that email correspondence back and forth with myself and Eric Smith is in your packet as well if you'd like to read that. We were kind of hoping to get a little bit more money, but we did have an offer of $10,000 to sell that press, which $10,000, I mean, we weren't even really expecting that. But it does need to be removed from that building before we start spending contingency money next spring. But we do have an offer of $10,000. I think that Eric has kind of exhausted his options with.
Do you have any idea what that press is actually worth?
Oh, I have no idea.
So that's just a number somebody threw out there as a bid.
I mean, there may be options to find someone else who would need it. You'll see in his correspondence who he reached out to, a couple of manufacturers and folks that he thought might use it.
No, read through it, but I mean, I don't think Eric is a dummy by any means on who he's reaching out to that would actually use it, and if we're not using it,
The only thing it would be value to us is scrap.
so it'll be worth 500 or 10,000.
If we're not getting you back into pressing again. I mean, I guess there's always that chance, but I think the number one project on our contingency list, or at least what we believe would be the number one item on that list, would to redo that building, and that would have to come out to do that building.
Are you looking for a motion to sell it?
It's, can be discussion, it's not something we have to decide right now, but if you, something you want to proceed with, or you could make the motion that we do sell it, minimum of $10,000 or something like that, and maybe give us a little bit of time to find somebody who would give us more than $10,000.
Do we have to list this as collateral or anything?
I don't know.
Just, as, it's like surplus of some type,
Yeah,
I think it's probably a good idea.
so,
If we're for sure we're not going to use it, I don't think that we intend to.
and I think council is going off of your recommendation, or at least leaning that way, based upon the email correspondence. I don't know, council wants to move forward with this company that is proposing this offer, but then it goes back to my question, do we have to list this as an asset or surplus, or,
We have to open the bid.
that's my question.
I mean, it's an asset, but not, it's part of the entire wastewater plant. But I know in the past, whenever you sold something, you declare it surplus as your motion of getting rid of it. So I think that could be included in the motion if that's what you choose.
Should we wait for clarification from legal, or is that
It's
gonna?
not something that's holding us up.
Yeah, I say, let's, council, let's just make sure we dot our i's and cross our t's on this one.
Yeah, I want to table it and make sure Shagley's on board with how we handle it. I'm all for selling it if we're never going to use it, but yeah, I don't want us to get
I
us
think it'd be a good time to maybe just see what something like that is worth moving forward. I mean, it could be worth a lot more than that. It may not be.
That's valid.
But give us that time to check into that.
We can put it on Marketplace.
Just Google it.
Don't press.
So Kelly, let's table this until December's meeting, please.
The next item is stormwater project. We're close to being finished on the stormwater project. They're still doing some grading and ditching along Stardust Way. They've done, obviously, since the last meeting, they did the resurfacing, the milling and resurfacing of Stardust Way. Cool evening, just last week, they did this last Thursday, Friday, the ditching on the north side, the east side of Cool Evening. It looks to me like they probably need to do some seeding and some straw down, a little better job than that. That's my opinion, so I'm gonna have our inspector look at that, but they're really, really close to being finished with that project. They did most of the repairs where they did they did all their repairs where they did street cuts. So this asphalt has been done. The next thing is the basketball court. If you've not seen the basketball court, it is completed. The basketball goals are up. Well, with the exception of lines, which Brandon wants lines. It is big enough to have a full 3-point shooting from the entire perimeter, so.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it looks really, really
I
nice.
will, contractor did a phenomenal job. If you haven't, I encourage you to drive through the park, check it out. It's big, it's beautiful, it's
I was there on Sunday, it's really cool.
very nice.
Yep.
And yes, there are no lines, but we'll get those hopefully in the spring.
It's the difference between IE and Purdue basketball.
Go IU.
Annexation, we're still moving forward with annexation, nothing new to report there. Monon Avenue, Lauren, I don't know if you have anything. Or, I know that they have been working on it, but I don't know if there's anything to report on it.
Not yet, I think there's
Okay.
preliminary property lines, and I was gonna talk to you about some mapping issues after.
Okay, what they were doing with Mona, with United Consulting was trying to figure out who owns what, where the lines are, what we've got out there, so. I know they have been doing work out there, seen some survey work done out there, so. But nothing really to report on there. Meter purchase, Kelly put this in your packet as well. Currently, this is at Poet. Currently, we wait for Poet to provide us with their monthly reads on how much waste they're sending to us. It's not always easy getting that information in a timely fashion so that we can bill properly. So we did have a conversation last week with, I've spoken with one vendor already. Actually, this was some other project why we had the meeting. I had Kelly and Richard and Brad all in this meeting, and actually Susie. But in that meeting, I asked about a flow meter specifically for Poet. He got us a quote, and that quote is that is a Badger meter. That is in there. I also had a meeting with a company today about a Neptune meter, which would be a utility supply company. We haven't necessarily decided which one, but what I would like is at least approval to proceed with the purchase of one of these two brands. We're kind of looking at other options, maybe down the road, of a cellular type meter reading system. So I don't know which brand we would like, but I think Kelly's on board with this. I definitely am, and Richard is, that we would start metering that with our own meter, not relying on United. We're gonna be able to get the information we need when we need it, and not questioning what they're giving us is not accurate, but we'll have full control of that situation. So there is that quote in there. So what I would be asking for is approval to purchase a flow meter. The revenue we receive from Poet in 1 month covers the cost of this meter.
So Mike, I got two questions. Well,
And we would
you answered
install it.
You answered my one question. Why wouldn't they purchase the meter? Is that on us because we're providing utility to them?
It's us.
Okay. I mean, if we can take all the guessing game out of it.
Our plan is to install it actually in the state's right of way, north of, so we wouldn't ever have to go on the property to read this, kind of like we do with our water meters. They're out on, right at the front of the property. So we would have access to read that flow meter at any time. It's a little different than a water meter, but they call them a flow meter on the sewer side.
Would you have access, say another business went out there, we could install one very easily that's close to it, is what I was asking.
Yeah, where Richard and I went out there and looked, because there's still work, as a matter of fact, there may be a little bit of relocation to a sewer line that has to happen out there, so that's kind of what we were thinking. There's the second entrance to Poet, it's really not an entrance. I mean, you'll see a driveway that goes just north of the main entrance, and there's another driveway that goes up through there that I've never seen anybody use, and there's a gate up there. That's where we were thinking of putting this flow meter, would be right there. So, I mean, we wouldn't be able to use it with another customer because it's specific on how much flow is coming out of it.
Yeah, I'm just, like if someone else was there, if it'd be easily accessible.
Yeah, no, I think we're fine. And this is something that we could always move if ever necessary too. But it's a pretty substantial cost per meter, but I think this is gonna make our jobs much easier. And we don't always get our numbers. We actually go two months today. So, not fault anybody, they're busy as well, but at least their concern is getting us numbers. This will just take it and put it in our hands and we'll handle it.
Council, does somebody want to make a motion to give Jason the authority to move forward with the purchase?
Motion to make a purchase.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I just want to be clear, that, and it could be this other brand too, you're okay with, okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have at the moment.
Kelly?
All your reports are in your packet, and everything's looking pretty good. As we're winding down the year. So yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, ordinance 2024-8, this is a street sign grant fund, this is a second reading. There are no questions, looking for a motion.
Motion.
Second, thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 2024-9, this is the road acceptance, this is also the second reading. If there are no questions, somebody like to make a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
This brings us to ordinance 2024-10. This is a 2025 salary ordinance. This is the first reading. There are no questions. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Or if it's everyone's in agreement, can we waive the second motion on this or no?
You mean the reading?
Yeah. Second reading of it, and just approve it.
You can, it's indifferent.
I'll make a motion to waive the second reading and approve it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, this brings us to new business. This brings us to the farm ground rental bid openings. We did receive 3 bids for the farm ground, and I'm gonna open them one by one here. And I have to say, I don't know if putting it on the social media page helps, but I don't recall having 3 bids the past few years. So maybe it did. First bid comes from Chad Cummings Farms in the amount of $1,250 even.
How many acres are we talking?
7, give or take a little bit, depending on if it has rained or not. Second bid is from CC Livestock LLC. Their bid is at $152 per acre for an annual total of the 7 acres of $1,064 even. And the third bid. Sorry, I have to break out a calculator. And as I was trying to read through the notes here. All right, the third bid is from what appears to be RAM Farm, based out of what appears to be Quincy, Indiana. They've broken it down into 6 months, half year, until May 15th at $577.5 or $577.50. From May 15th until the end of the year of $577.50. That's going to bring our total to $1,155 even.
I'll make the motion to go with Cummings Farm.
Does anybody have any questions? there are no other, or no questions, does somebody want to make a second to Bryce's motion?
What's your motion? Yeah, Bryce. To go, Cummings, Chad, Cummings.
And I can run down the totals again if
Per
you need
acre,
to.
I mean, per acre, if you call it 7 acres, it was the highest bid, and Chad is a good member of the community.
Larry, do you need me to run down them again?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Motion is still on the table.
Second.
All in favor for Chad Cummins Farms?
Aye.
Utility software upgrade.
We met with Voice Keystone, the providers who our software recently, Jason, the utility girls, Rebecca and I. They're revamping their utility software, the billing program that we use. They're making it into a cloud base, which has a lot of benefit. Just in asking the girls today, I was like, how would you describe, the new upgrading to new software? Like, what would you say the benefits are? And one of them said, what we have now is a dinosaur. So that tells you the difference between the new and the old. But I just want to run down some pros. You have all this, you have the information in your packet, their quote that they gave you. Pros to this are the ease of use, definitely more efficient and time savings. Their new system has a transparent history, which is really beneficial because right now, everything in our software is compartmentalized to a person. And it's, once that person leaves, that basically that account is archived and you don't know it unless you were the utility clerk at the time who dealt with that and you can remember it. So this allows a lot of transparency, allowing us to track people who have potentially left town and left a balance. It will always keep them in the system, and when we search for their names, if they try to come back, it will bring up that, hey, you owe us money, that type of thing. Again, it is cloud-based, so the benefit to that for us is Keystone handles the security. That's not on us anymore. All the security, all the updates, they take care of. I spoke with EAS. We happened to be in another meeting, and I just mentioned this to him, and I asked him what impact that would have on the town. He said if all of our Keystone went to the cloud eventually, he said we could potentially get another year or two life worth out of our server. And we did renew, depending on some things, he was going to have to look at the police, what type of things they have stored on there. We potentially could get a server with less RAM, less whatever we needed, it could be less. The timing of this is really good right now. We have 2 utility clerks and one will be retiring shortly. So we have one with institutional knowledge and then a new one who's coming on, so she would be learning the new system. Also, this is basically moving us into the future. It's getting us ready for some other things that are coming. I know they're coming down the line that potentially will eliminate 2 of our other software programs. So the expense of that, both of those are about $1,000 a year. The con, obviously, is the price. It's a lot more money than what we're spending now. And that was, yeah, that took a little bit for me to think about and swallow. But I do think this is moving us forward incrementally, doing it this way, because eventually all of their systems, all of their software is going to move to the cloud, and this way we're doing one at a time. They're also giving us like a 20% discount this time, since it's the beginning and they don't have all their other systems integrated. And we would receive a prorating because we've already renewed under the old system. So I think the quote in there is like 12,000, something around there. We should be getting another probably 3,000 off of that for the first year.
Does this allow the consumer auto pay or pay online?
That's where we're heading. It's not completely developed yet, but that is part of what they're doing, which we would be able to get rid of the company we have now, who none of us have been super impressed with. We're looking to something better, and it would be their design, and I believe it's already included in the cost, and it would be more integrated into their system and more beneficial, I believe, to the customer.
I just look at it from someone that's out of town a lot. There's a lot of times I get home and I gotta pay my water bill, you know, where everything else I had set up on water pay, or on auto pay for my water. So that would be a feature that I personally believe the town, the size that we are, we need to offer if we're gonna spend that kind of money.
Yeah, and we do have auto pay now, but I believe this is gonna be a better system.
What type of hiccup, if council decides to go, would there be a lapse from switching companies with people being able to pay online?
I don't believe there would be. There shouldn't be, because right now we're using a third-party vendor.
The auto pay
So
right
that
now
should-
is beyond cumbersome. So if it's better, yeah, getting the auto pay set up for the current company is not easy.
Yeah, and you can always, I mean, at this point, you can always call Susie and she can help.
Oh,
you.
I'd call,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, I call Susie every
But-
month and just,
Yeah.
but
We are,
every, you know.
we are looking for something definitely that's more user-friendly, that's more economical to our customers, and
What does year two figure look like as far as cost wise? And then year five?
okay, I definitely know, like, year 5, they should have all the other systems integrated, so I think we're looking at about $15,000 a year, full price,
And what are we paying now per year?
$4,000.
I
And
guess-
again, that would eliminate like another $2,000 worth of other software vendors that we have. Yeah, it's pricey.
I guess I would want to know a detailed, but this is my opinion, a detailed budget for the next 5 years, exactly what it's gonna cost us and what we're gonna get. I have no, I guess, reservations on doing something that makes it easier for you guys, because, I mean, there are several times where I call Susie to pay my water bill, and she knows it's me. Can I call you back in an hour? Like, I've got a bunch of people in here, and she'll always call me back, take care of it. But I'm all about doing something that makes it easier for you guys, but I want a very detailed, I guess, budget and what we're getting out of it before we just say we're gonna go from 4,000 to 15,000.
There was a period of time that they were gonna still offer support on what we had. Do you remember the years that some of we had? I mean, we're gonna have to make a move at some point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just wanna know what we're getting
You're
into.
not gonna support it, and I don't remember what they said.
I don't remember the years.
I just wanna know 100%. I'm all about doing it if it makes it easier, not only for you guys, but for also our paying customers. But I wanna know what we're getting into 100% before we make a $10,000 leap. Bless you. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have definite, they're still developing other software. And they're talking about, like, rolling out another one in 2025, another one in 2026. And they would not charge us that full 15,000, I don't believe, until all of those have been integrated and we've moved over. And I think when all of that happens, like I said, over several years, the software is gonna end up being about 30,000 for all of it together per year. Yeah. But it will save us on our server and that as well, and security.
Does anybody else, council, have any questions for Kelly?
How soon do you need an answer on that?
I'm sorry?
How soon do you need an answer for them?
There's no time frame. As far as I know, there's no time frame. We can switch over whenever we want. The only, to me, the only time sensitive thing is right now we've got the 2 people in the office. And so training with 2 who have the varied backgrounds would be very beneficial.
How long would it take them to install it and set it up?
I don't know. I know it would include, I think in the packet, at least 14 days of training, like, intense training, and then obviously they would help for a while.
Do they have a local representative? Do you know?
Our sales rep is Parker Bright. His name should be.
Yeah. Is
his
he,
name
is
should be in there.
765 area code, that could be anywhere.
Yeah, you can reach him, talk to him about it.
This company is located outside of Muncie.
Out of where?
It's a Muncie company. Keystone provides these services for most every municipality in Indiana. I mean, there are a few people who don't use them, but it's, most everybody uses Keystone.
I don't have a problem with their service, I just would like to know
That was the reason I was asking if it would be fee. I'm not gonna ask somebody from Muncie, Indiana to attend a 7 PM meeting. So the council can get further detail, Kelly can get further details, et cetera. Maybe we try, like an online meeting. I think right now we hold off. Maybe give Parker or Mr. Parker Bright, shoot him an email, say, hey, council's asking for additional information, specifically, what does that 5-year number look like? What are the hiccups are we gonna have transitioning wise? What else did you bring up?
transition wise, if we do automatic payments, just monthly withdrawal.
Looks like they have that, just looking at
Yeah, I know automatic payments is not something that will be available right away with this. We'll still be using our third-party vendor.
And that will
but that
cover
will be-
until we're fully.
But even our third-party vendor, you've got to go through your local, you've got to go through whatever bank you use to get it set up, and it's very cumbersome.
So maybe we can just, I say we, Kelly, maybe you can send an email saying, hey, this is what council's asking for, and then let's see if we can set up an online, Teams meeting or Zoom meeting with council, during the evening one day or something.
Okay, so the two things that you're looking for specifically are the 5-year numbers, the price for 5 years, and then the transition time to set up between the old and the new.
Council, you have anything else you want to add?
No.
I would be, and this is just me, I'd be interested in knowing their main opinion on why what they're offering us is worth 10 grand more a year.
I mean, you can ask that question.
What, but that's what
You can ask that question. Maybe if they have any additional literature that they can send prior to meeting. Maybe. Kind of clear as mud, huh? You good? Okay. This brings us to the Development Center contract. This was on the agenda last month, but since we didn't have a full crew, I asked to postpone it till this month's meeting. I'm gonna turn it over to Jason, just to talk a little bit about it, and then we can ask questions from council from there, if there are any.
Yeah, the Development Center, that is the Putnam County Development Center, which is actually in Greencastle. It's located at in the Ivy Tech building. Kristen Clary is the executive director. She approached me several months ago about possibly a contract with the town of Cloverdale, and I said I'd agree to the council. I believe it was for $3,000 a year,
Correct.
but it's just a 1-year contract, but we could renew it. The Development Center is funded by Putnam County, City of Greencastle, and then also they get contributions from industry, whether it's Duke Energy or one of the Walmart distribution centers. Those are the types of folks that support the Development Center. The Development Center, they help in different projects that are related to economic development here in the county. So if there's an abatement, they help with abatement, the process, or help towns through that process. They also do recruitment of businesses. So if a industry is interested in building in Greencastle, Walmart, let's say another Walmart distribution center wanted to locate in Putnam County, they would contact this office. That office would handle the whole process of getting them developed, whether it be land acquisition or assistance with utilities, help maneuvering them through the government bureaucracy, all those factors that go into building a big old facility. So it's kind of the point person for any economic development in the county. Kristen since I've been Cloverdale, she's assisted with abatement of, or set up the abatement potential for the hydrogen facility, out by, which we still haven't come to fruition, but I'm told still is planning to happen. I've spoken with her many times. Anytime there's a development or someone is interested in a site location, she has us on the site location register, so she calls me quite often and says, hey, do you have this type of utility? Can you provide this much water? Can you provide electricity? Do you have a rail site? So she keeps a database of all these sites for us. She helped with the READY program, which helped us about $1.5 million. But then also when we did the, that was drawing a blank now. Opportunity zone, that I'm trying to think of, the prospectus is what I was trying to think of. When we put that prospectus together, at the same time we did the opportunity zone, she was in charge, she oversaw that. But even this Thursday, I have a meeting with her and the mayor with regards to a housing study that they're doing. That's an entire county housing study, it's not just the city of Greencastle, which was originally the plan, but then they decided to open that up to the entire county. Because I know that's one thing that we've been really focusing on here is determining what kind of housing. I get calls from developers on a pretty regular basis asking about housing and what our needs are. And this is going to give us the opportunity to have a document that says what our needs are. Do we need multifamily? Do we need single family? Do we need $300,000 homes, or we need $150,000 homes? I mean, that's what this document should do. So, the development center is pretty busy. They do a lot of things with development. She just asked me to present that to the council, and I said I would. Like I said, Greencastle does contribute. I think it's substantially more than 3,000. I don't know what those numbers are, but I know the county contributes a big share of that. The one thing is, if you guys did decide to move forward, I would encourage you to do it with a stipulation that at least Cloverdale gets some appointment or some type of, it's a pretty large board of about 20 members that sit on the Economic Development Board. But I would think that would be a nice gesture that Cloverdale would be represented somehow along that. So that's if you decide to move forward, and if you don't, that's another argument. So that's my spiel.
Council, you have anything, questions for Jason?
I don't have any questions other than the fact that in my previous role at the arena, I've dealt with Kristen a lot, and she has helped this community, I think, tremendously on trying to develop, and I think her services would be very well money spent. And so me personally, I agree 100% with Jason. I think if we're gonna do this, we need a voice at the table as far as the town, but I would be 100% with going forward with this agreement.
Brandon, we do have a county council member here. She may know. Do you know what the contract is with the county?
I do not. I don't remember what the number are. I apologize. No.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I know she has been a great asset to the county in a lot of different ways, and along with the city with a lot of the projects that Jason's already stated, along with others. So.
Somebody like to make a motion for the approval of the development center contract in the amount of $3,000?
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, this brings us to the new road name. Council, does anybody have any suggestions for the naming of the new road that has been graciously given to the town of Cloverdale? This is a road that sits in between Arby's and the truck stop and heads west towards the substation.
Who's the one?
I'm sorry?
Who's the one that gave the road?
You would have been here.
I understand. I'm asking.
I had to get that one dig in.
I know exactly who gave it, but that's what I'm saying. I would name it Haymon.
Who's your role, Lord?
I knew who gave the road. I was just asking.
Does anybody have any other suggestions?
Right now, it's designated as what? Jack's Way?
I've never, well, Jack's Way, or at least what I thought Jack's Way was the north-south. It's not
I think
really,
that's true.
it's not really a named street. I think there was a sign up there that said Jack's, but it's not town-owned, so.
How about Clover Way?
I think it should be something to benefit the Haymon name.
I'll make a motion for Haymon Way.
Second.
I'm gonna say we probably need to get it in an ordinance form. Would you concur with that, Kelly?
That's what we did with Bennington, when we named it.
But if you make a motion to tell us to prepare,
Yeah, I'll
we
make
can
a
get
motion.
that.
I'll make a motion to prepare an ordinance to name it Haymon Way.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Bear with me. 2025 board appointments. I'm gonna go through these as quick as I can. That's why I said, bear with me. We're gonna start with Park Board. This is a council appoint. Council, my recommendation is to reappoint Mr. John Bailey.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Brings us to Stormwater. John Bailey's term ends at the end of the year. This is a president appoint, and I would like to appoint John Bailey again to that position.
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Brings us to the Redevelopment Commission. For Redevelopment Commission, 2 appointees have to be approved by council. The other 3 are president appoints. So I'm asking council, under the recommendation of David Fish and Brian Manners, for your approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, I just did council.
Sorry. No, you said that. That's what I'm saying.
That was council appoint. Those two.
I thought you said president, that's why I was asking.
No.
Sorry.
The next 2 positions are president appoint, and I would like to appoint Scott Wall and Bryce Howell to those positions. We don't need a motion,
No,
but
it's your
if you guys want to do it, you can. No? Moving on. That leaves 1 open position. So if anybody is interested, it is a president appoint. I ask that you reach out to Kelly or myself if you are interested in filling that last position for Redevelopment Commission. Brings us to Redevelopment Authority. Three positions, all appointed by current council. Council, it's my recommendation that we reappoint John Bailey, Scott Wall, and David Fish.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This brings us to the BZA. I am asking, actually Kelly, if we could move BZA to our December meeting, please. If anybody is interested in joining the BZA committee, we could potentially have an opening. If you have any questions, again, please reach out to Kelly or myself, but that will be on the December agenda. This brings us to the Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau Committee. We will have an opening as Laura Hatton is resigning at her term at the end of this year. If you are interested in filling that position, again, please reach out to Kelly or myself, as we would like to have that position filled next month as well. I think that's all of them. Council, do you have anything to add? If not, I will add, as I mentioned last meeting, that I gotta have my stuff together, apparently not. I think it's December the 7th. Cloverdale Main Street is hosting the parade. December the 7th at 6 p.m. found it. Cloverdale Main Street is hosting the parade through town. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to that group. It's at nighttime. They're trying something different, so hopefully it'll be a great turnout for that event. As far as me, that is all I have for this meeting. I'll open it up for public comments, questions, concerns. Yes, sir.
First of all, I'd like to compliment the efforts and the completion of parts of Stardust Road that has been paved. It really is a major improvement on that road. I compliment the police department for having somebody out there this evening because it's expected to be a racetrack. With as smooth and as it is now, with it being repaved, that there's a lot of people I think are going to take advantage of that. But with proper enforcement, I think that can be controlled. The other voids in the pavement around Stardust, I hope will still be able to be addressed before the snow flies next month.
You think so?
I hope.
But we hope the stove doesn't fly.
I hope it holds out that long.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I don't think so at this time. Thank you.
Thank you for the kind words. Anybody else? Fair enough. This meeting is adjourned.